Hey there, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. I've been working on a project off and on now for about a year and a half, and I've been dragging my feet on a few problems related to it, and I really wanted to find time to work on the project. And recently, since I've been devoting more and more time towards messing with my photography equipment and showing it off, that I thought it's probably about time that I made a video on my largest camera project, probably the most uh, money, time, effort that I've put into any of the projects so far, uh, and that it's my ultra large format film camera project. This project has been something that I've wanted to do for a while. I wanted to purchase or build a ultra large format camera. And for the life of me, I couldn't make a decision between 11 by 14 and 14 by 17, or even just go really crazy and go 20 by 24. But every time I looked at film prices and what it would cost to run cameras like that, it was just way out of my price range. It's not something I could do unless I completely stayed within the realm of X-ray film. X-ray film's cheap. Uh, you can get 100 sheets for $35, I believe, for Fuji HRU or RX. I can't remember what the blue sensitivity only film's called, but you can get a box of it for about $25 to $35 plus shipping on sites like Z&Z Medical, which is where I get my X-ray film. Uh, so I decided to go on a little bit of a hunt. What is the largest X-ray film that I can purchase and use and it not cost me an arm and a leg? This is a normal 8 by 10 shot. This is just Delta 100, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, this is Delta 100 8 by 10. For reference, here's something else. Since I do a lot of it. These are a shot from the El Vista, which is 9 inches by 3.5, almost 4 by 10 size. This is 8 by 10. So the largest X-ray film that I could find is 14 by 36. That's it. That's the largest I can purchase. Now, maybe you're wondering how expensive a sheet of this is. It's not very expensive. It's $3 a shot. That is expensive in the long run, but at $3 a shot, it's on par with my most 8 by 10 shots that I do. It's not crazy. It's not like I'm shooting Portra 400 on a regular basis. So it's still fairly within my capabilities. I can get 25 sheets of this for about, well, it used to be $75. It's now $85 plus shipping. So for about $100, I can get 25 sheets of this. And it's really not that expensive. I still have a stock of it. So for me, it's still only about $3 a shot. But in the future, when I go to buy more, it's going to cost me more money per shot. I figured out a number of issues. One of the biggest one was back in 2022, I was seriously starting to consider whether or not I wanted to do this project. And that was whether or not I could find glass for it. That was the biggest challenge. The only lenses that were for sure capable of covering the 981 millimeters required to cover this was the Fujinon A 1200, I think is what it's called. The non telephoto version, just the full on massive. And very few have ever been seen if they've even ever been sold. Most of the time, when people show images of that particular lens, it's at like Fuji's museum. I don't know if any of those 1200s were actually available. So a lot more people will go towards the processing lens or the copy lens realm, which is what I. This is a Rodenstock APR Raynor CL F14 1070. or a 42-inch lens. It's a 6.5 pound massive piece of glass. This is what they would have used for reproductions, or like copying or making some type of circuitry too. I've been told that these were used for copying lithograms for making motherboards and stuff like that. I picked this up for I think $1,400 or $1,500 back in 2022, and they regularly go for $3,500 or more. So I got it at a real good deal. Heavy, heavy piece of glass. One of the other things that I had to figure out for it was that doesn't have a shutter in it. It has an aperture that goes from f14 to f128 at the max. But I need to figure out a shutter issue. I haven't fully tested whether or not this will work, but it has the same diameter aperture as that. So it should be fine for use. My issue is whether or not it will cut off the corners of the exposure if it's too long. I'm not sure. But the interesting thing about these Copal Cinar shutters is that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8-second exposures built in, as well as half, quarter, eighth, 15th, 30th, and 60th, and a bulb mode. And I have checked it with my tester and timed it, and it seems to work fine. So there's no issue with it being inaccurate. That's for a 2-second exposure. This goes all the way to 8 seconds. It's a really neat thing. I wish I had actually purchased a Cinar. I've never used one before. So the big issues that I've been having recently, at least in the past year, I stopped work on this back in January, was getting a way to mount this into a film holder. No film holders exist for this type of film except for the ones that are used for X-ray. In the X-ray room. This is just a test for right now, but to show you, I finally got a profile using my 3D printer for this to slot into. So I'm building two sides of this. I'm going to be using PETG as the profile for the inside of the U channel, but this gives me the ability to actually manufacture something here at home instead of, I've been quoted for about $2,000 to get one of these made by a cabinet maker or somebody who's good with actually making custom size film holders. The cheapest I was quoted was $2,000. So I've got this figured out now down to a pretty good idea. I haven't assembled one yet, and I haven't light tested it yet, but this was my big holdback. This is the thing that was holding me back the most, was getting a good profile and being able to manufacture it myself. I'm not good at woodworking. I'm still trying, but I finally just stopped. That just seemed like I was wasting money trying to do it on my own with wood. Okay, with all that said, let's talk about the actual camera. I began work on it earlier in 2023. I did a number of different parts on the computer where I designed them in Fusion 360, and then I had them CNC'd out on a Hydro CNC machine here in my town. I then taught myself a little bit of woodworking in order to make the rear standard and the front standard, and they're both still fairly rough, but they're starting to come together. Now with my film holder situation figured out, the next step is to make the back, the ground glass, and the retention part for holding the film holder in place. But enough talk about it. Let me just go get it and show you. Ta-da! Oh, I can't even fit. Okay. Current weight, I think, is 45 pounds. With the bellows on, which, grab that. Bellows is rough, and I don't think I'm going to be using it. I'm going to redesign it and make another one. But that adds an additional 8 pounds of weight. I think painting polyester was a bad idea because it added so much weight. The back itself is another 5 or 10 pounds plus whatever the glass is going to weigh, and it looks like another 4 or 5 pounds for the film holder. So total, it's going to be a hefty, hefty, hefty camera. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this more than, take it out of the back of the car, set up, use it, and put it back in the car, because I don't know if I'm going to be hiking with this or going anywhere with it. I'm going to be well over 100 pounds worth of gear just taking this camera and setting it up somewhere. So, anyways, that's pretty much it. I don't really have much more to say on this. This is the camera that I'm working on, that I've been working on for almost 2 years. As you can tell, I have a thing for panoramic cameras like this 6x24, 6x18, or even the Alvistas 3.5 by 9 inch. So it seems my passion isn't just fixing cameras, but panoramics in general. Um, there's so many ultra large formats out there, including 16 by 20. There's a 16 by 20 camera that I've been looking at and wondering, maybe, probably not. It's just so much. It's just so much infrastructure you need to be able to process all of this stuff. So even after you've taken the photo, I'm gonna have to design tanks to be able to process the film, or trays, and then I'm gonna have to get uh, rolls of paper to be able to create prints from it. Because what's the point of having such a large negative if you can't contact print it? Yeah, this is gonna be a crazy project. Ugh, can sit in my chair. Okay. Anyways, yeah, get subscribed. This is going to be a fun project. I'm happy to actually share it with the world. This is going to be a crazy one. I can't wait.